Hello and welcome. Hi, I'm author and coach and survivor and strategist Grace Rolson. I have 7 books out there available on Amazon. I do support calls and strategy sessions for moms who are protective, loving, caring, and motivated. So, if you're a motivated mom and you're required to co parent with a narcissistic ex or in a custody battle with a narcissist, that's what I do in one-to-one confidential supportive calls. So I am a certified life coach. I've been doing these sessions for over a decade or more. I've had hundreds of mom coaching clients by phone and repeat customers. So if you are required to co-parent with a narcissist or in a custody battle with a narcissist, you are not alone. I was there. I did that. I spent 12 years in a family court custody battle and I lost my legal rights. I've had 3 lawyers. I went on to get a new lawyer and get my rights reinstated one by one, holding the narcissist in contempt of the court order, which was a very brave and bold move for someone like me. And we have one child, our only child, and I was then able to learn skillful means, which is what I teach now, and how to create and make leverage so that you can have successful negotiations, potentially successful negotiations with a narcissist. I talk about positioning yourself to actually have successful negotiations with a narcissist and what needs to be in place for that to even have a chance of working. But I don't guarantee what the case. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a DV worker. I'm a mom survivor. This is shared survivor wisdom, and I do have a disclaimer. But I know that my story and my support has helped many moms go back to win things they've lost. It's always better if a motivated mom comes to me for strategy and documentation strategy before they get close to a court trial and losing. And my fee is almost as much as a 1 hour for a lawyer. So, but it's a lot less right now. So, go check out my PayPal is where you make a payment before the session and sign my waiver and release. So welcome to my work. There is hope for you. You are not alone. You don't have to do this alone. You can get support. I support motivated mothers who are required to co-parent with a narcissistic ex to maintain their sanity, save and safeguard their custody cases, and enjoy their child's one and only childhood. And my goal is peace and protection for these children and these mothers. So ultimately, by helping the mom who's loving, caring, kind, supportive, it helps these innocent children that are stuck with narcissistic abuse or family court failures. So I like to talk about my story. So welcome. Pause this if you're watching this on YouTube or if you're listening on Spotify or my free Substack newsletter or podcast. Pause this because these are helpful tips based only on my thoughts and opinions. I can't guarantee anything. This is not direct advice. Only you, your therapist, your DV counselor, your lawyer can make the full strategy and implement strategy in your case, because so much depends. There's so many details, and you can't just take one tip and run with it. It's got to be, okay, I'm learning what happened to Grace, and I am thinking about how it applies to me. It may or may not apply to you, and I'm not a mental health professional. So my strategy and support sessions are not therapy. I can't give legal advice. Use your own good common sense. And if you don't like your lawyer's advice, consult with a few other attorneys. See if there's a different perspective on your case, that you're not taking a legal perspective. So I caution moms to only get legal advice from family law lawyers who have experience in family court. It's often not a straight line to a judge. There's zigzags, twists, and turns, and paperwork mishaps that can actually just ruin a custody case. So child custody cases, they vary. It may not be applicable what I'm saying about my story. So use your own good judgment. And this is for personal self-help only. So what I say is not based on any laws or rules of the court. It's what happened in my court. I don't know what country you're in, what state you're in. Things could be different. You may want to look up your best interest factors of your state and focus on those. That's a tip I give my mom clients. And so, all the stuff that I write, these books, which I'll show you. So, stay to the very end of this video because I have a lot of books, a lot of guides, a lot of videos, and this is my shared survivor wisdom. Take what's helpful and leave the rest. I always say if you are ready and willing to learn and do the work, I am here to teach, coach, and mentor. So learn all you can. My background is loving and leaving an alcoholic, breaking the trauma bonds from narcissistic abuse, recovering and staying in recovery from codependency. I used an Al-Anon program, a CODA program, an ACOA program, some narcissistic abuse healing programs, and much more to break free of that toxic, alcoholic, narcissistic, codependent relationship. And I went on to raise our only child as a single mom, only to find myself in a family court battle that I didn't want to be in, trying to protect her. So, my first book in the Mom series is Co Parenting with a Narcissist: 7 Self Rules to Stay Sane. My second book is How to Fight a Narcissist and Family Court Win: Super Smart Strategies for Success. And did you know, I like to just pause here, that moms who don't ask for help don't get help. And it's important to drop some pride, become more humble, realize even though we're strong, confident, educated, capable women, we will need help going through something so difficult and challenging. And to navigate the obstacles with skills, we need tips, tools, and strategies. And that's what I offer. So, my Sir Thriver tip: it's important to find the right kind of help. At one point, I had a therapist who was the wrong therapist for me. I had to switch to a DV counselor who got that abusers abuse and that being called crazy was so detrimental to me and a way of verbal and emotional and mental abuse. And then, which once I separated, it became part of that power and control wheel. If you want to look it up, it became legal abuse. And then I was suffering from all kinds of fear, anxiety, and worry. So remember to ask for help, step into the solution, the self help solution, and getting support solution, asking others who are experts in this area. So I teach the use of skillful means and a multi strategy approach, which is organized, systematic, and I share all these tips, tools, and strategies in all 5 of my books for moms. So, moms who read my books and use my survivor wisdom, they get the benefit of more peaceful conditions and are able to watch their children thrive from all the buffers and boundaries they put in place. So, if you want to hear more of my tips, tools, and strategies, you can pop over to my free Spotify and I will go over a tip or something. Usually I consult with a mom and I see the error or the direction they're going in that just causes more conflict. And I teach navigating, de escalating, disarming, and neutralizing the narcissist versus beating, defeating, slaying, winning, exposing. I teach moms how to survive this more gracefully, and that's the goal: is to be able to survive all of this for our children and be a mother, a healthy, loving, healed, in recovery, supported mother for our children who need us for that emotional support. So we have to get the emotional support to be able to emotionally support our children. I know this is painful, challenging, difficult, hard, confusing. It can be downright crazy making to try to co parent with a narcissist. I get it. I was once there too. I had to parallel parent for many years and I often made mistakes. So I teach moms to learn from my mistakes so your children don't suffer. I have a new saying that an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of pain, especially childhood trauma pain that can last a child's lifetime. But if you're a healthy, supported, loving, balanced mother who's focused on peace and creating a healthy, happy, supported childhood for your child has a better chance and you have a better chance. It's really hard to thrive when you're in the middle of a war zone and you're not a fighter, if you're not a natural fighter. So I always teach moms that narcissists tend to thrive in the chaos, trauma, and drama they kick up. They create it and they thrive in it. They make everyone confused and destabilized. And so the solution to that is your sanity. Making sanity, finding sanity, having sanity, and getting support to hold on to your sanity and maintain it through all the crazy making. Don't think you're alone in this. You don't have to do it alone, and that's why I'm here. So I say you can learn, heal, and grow with me, with Grace. You can learn, heal, and outgrow the narcissist. You can actually come out smarter and stronger than before. If you can learn to believe in yourself and your kids' ability to survive, you have, hope in you and motivation in you. I got help, lots of help to support me dealing with a narcissist and trying to co-parent with him and the high conflict custody battle. I had a therapist, a DV counselor for 6 years. I had an in home therapist. And then I had coaches, 2 or 3 coaches specific to narcissistic abuse and custody battles, and those who helped through almost going through parental alienation of me once he won. So I had to survive all of that. And I've been through it. So if you need one-to-one strategy or support calls, you'll have to sign my waiver and of release of liability and make a payment before booking your session. And that's on right now, it's on my Calendly calendar. And the rates will go up as I do more programs. So I do have a basics program that you could buy instead of a one-to-one session. You could always start there or start with one of my books. If you're willing to learn the lesson, you have an advantage over the narcissist because you can learn what you need to learn. Often narcissists learn how to get away with things, or they actually don't learn what you want them to learn. I've figured out it's like a learning disability. They just learn how to get away with things and avoid responsibility and going to jail and stuff like that. That's the types of things they learn. But if you're willing to learn and change what you can make a bad situation even a little bit better, and you can plant seeds of goodwill, cooperation, and peace, and they can grow later. It might not happen overnight. I did get a miracle. We are co-parenting effectively in peace. And it took a while to get here. There were phases of my transformation. I stood up to him with a lawyer, a better lawyer. I did get out lawyered at one point. But then I decided I want to negotiate with the narcissist, which was never available. He refused for all the 4-way required negotiations for many years, for a whole decade. And so, what made him want to negotiate finally with me? Well, that's where I teach the leverage. So, don't send long emails to me because I get so many from desperate moms and grandparents. And don't give me all your custody case details. Certainly on my social media platforms, don't post your custody case details in the comments. You want to safeguard your case on social media. And I don't give legal advice or any advice. Sometimes I make a joke as the only advice I give is to get legal advice. I make strong suggestions that you get support, get into a recovery program, do the healing work, but I do help you create and understand strategy. And I do have been through this. I've survived this. We now thrive. Our child thrives. There's peace, cooperation with a narcissist, if you can believe it. I didn't think it was ever possible. He said it was a miracle, and the miracle was really a shift in his mind where I'm no longer the target of blame or the enemy to destroy because I stopped letting my lawyer position me there. And I purposely made that switch after reading 20 books on the whole topic of like how to get out from under this retaliation, this hate from the narcissist. So, my private phone call sessions are for mothers co-parenting with a narcissist. They're 1 hour, and I call you from my private business line. And usually, the first session is an intake, and we make a to-do list. Lists are so important in this chess game, in this survival. Lists keep us on task and on target, and being organized is one of the solutions to the narcissist disorganization. So, just to take a look at my books, Co-Parenting with a Sociopath, Survival and Sanity Guide, Survivor Wisdom is my third one in the Mom series. My fourth is How to Survive a Custody Battle with a Narcissist When the Family Courts Force You to Co-Parent. They're all on Amazon. My newest is Tame the Narcissist: 10 Keys for Better Co-Parenting to Create Peace and Protection Using Strategy and Skillful Means. So, who's going to teach you strategies and skills? Where are you going to get them? How are you going to learn? There's more to than just surviving a narcissist. There is coming out smarter and stronger than before. And just remember that I'm not going to give you direct advice. You can't come to me and ask, what am I going to do? I'm going to say, okay, what are your options? Let's think them all the way through. I don't provide crisis support. So if you're becoming homeless, I would say call a DV agency. If you've been beat up, I would say call the crisis lines. I provide emotional support and mentorship to make the bad situations better, and a sit down strategy session. So, if you want to see if my message aligns with what you need, pick up any of my books on Amazon. A few are on Audible and Kindle. And again, in order, the first one is Co-Parenting with a Narcissist: 7 Self-Rules to Stay Sane. 2 is How to Fight a Narcissist in Family Court and Win. 3 is Co-Parenting with a Sociopath: Survival and Sanity Guide. And 4 is How to Survive a Custody Battle with a Narcissist when the family courts force you to co-parent. I now say require us to co-parent. And then my newest one is Tamed a Narcissist: 10 Keys for Better Co-Parenting to Create Peace and Protection Using Strategy and Skillful Means. And the cost of my coaching session is right now a lot less than the cost of a 1-hour legal consult. And you'll be talking with someone who's endured this. So I'm not a lawyer. Just a reminder, I'm not a lawyer, can't give legal advice. I'm not a therapist or crisis caseworker. I can't create safety plans for DV situations. You got to call those crisis hotlines. But what do I do? Well, we can reduce your stress, shift out of negative thinking, adopt some winning mindsets, and set the stage for a comeback. And if you've lost, we can set a stage. We can learn to document strategically. We can also learn to plant seeds of goodwill and peace and cooperation and be the change we want to see. We can go first and learn to become resourceful. I can give you resources, things that I use, places I've looked, in terms of like resource referrals. I can't actually give you money or anything to help with that. That will be the nonprofit that we're creating to help moms who are the disadvantaged, usually parent in the situation with the lower income, just focusing on the child, and the other, the narcissist, focusing on their money and supply, image, and status. So I can help you start to strategize. And I've been a certified life coach for over 10 years, helping women place themselves courageously at the center of their own lives, and mothers to use skillful means to stop being the narcissist target of blame, which offers the change and a chance for goodwill and peaceful conditions. In the sessions, we workshop your current problems, co-parenting, quote unquote, with the narcissist. We brainstorm ideas, we reflect on the tug of war dynamic, we learn better communication skills, and we find the resources and support that fit the problems you have, as well as identify and adopt the mindsets and the thinking that will help you endure it. Sometimes we get caught thinking a thought over and over that just brings our energy down, and we need energy. And that's what support gives us: emotional energy for what we're having to go through. And we are resilient, and so are our children, and we can outlast and outgrow the narcissist with healthy mindsets. Um, it's really important to stay sane through the narcissist insanity. And talking with someone like peer-to-peer support with me who understands the dilemma can be very validating. You may even learn a different way to approach the challenges, the conflict, the communication. So I encourage you to keep an open mind. You'll have to sign my waiver. And if you want somewhere to start with my Navigate the Narcissist, You're Navigating Around video course, which is right there. You'll see a little image. The narcissist has tricks, tactics, traps, and manipulations. And in our strategy sessions, I teach you what they are. We learn to label them. And once you get really good at labeling the tactic of the narcissist to mentally or emotionally destabilize you or confuse you so he can have the upper hand, once you label it, I believe it has the ability to lose some of its power over you. So that's what I learned. If I could accurately label the tactic, I was like, oh, this is blame shifting. It lost its power to confuse me, upset me, destabilize me. So that was how I handled the triggers. So we need these strategies, skills, self rules, and this comes with support. I didn't do it alone. And, I believe that we have the ability to change, survive, endure, love our children, watch our children grow. So if you're ready to learn, I am here to teach. Come over to my website if you want to learn more about me, my background. I have a blog just for co parenting with a narcissist and creating peace. Remember to like and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. I have a lot of free videos. Once you get to my blog for moms, I have some samples of how to prepare for family court and how to get through the grief, places to look for healing programs, things that worked for me, and you might have to find your own blend. I also have something about gray walling. It's my castle and curtain method. I designed a lot of these methods and strategies myself or adopted and blended them that would actually work in my situation because not everything worked that other experts told me to do. It was tricky and very complicated. So if you want to learn my gray walling, you can find that on my blog, or all of my blogs and videos are in my books. I do have a free newsletter. It's Navigate Around the Narcissist for Moms. It comes with a podcast. You get my tips, tools, and strategies for free. You can sign up at the in the link in the description of this. I have a video called Strategies for Dealing with a Narcissist who's a high conflict co-parent. Check that out on YouTube. It's a shorter video, and I do have another video, one thing not to say to the narcissist. If you are using my skillful means strategy and trying to make the bad situation better, more manageable, more tolerable, easier to live with so that you can sleep at night, so your kids can get their activities, their cell phone, or what they need and what they want. I also have 3 things not to do in that video, so you can find that. I do have a Get the Right Lawyer guide with a 20-question attorney interview worksheet. Read the whole guide and understand why a lawyer for a family court battle is super important, or why legal advice, when you're asking what to do, why legal advice is super important. So you don't want to ruin your custody case doing something you think is protecting your child, but then lose all your rights to your child because the courts have best interest factors and laws and rules in place, and they don't always know who the narcissist is. It can take a while. It might never happen. I do have a 20 wants list strategy so that you can make lists and gain instant leverage. It's a power tool. It's in my newest book. It's on my blog. I really suggest you do this and then read the guide, or read the guide, do this, and then interview attorneys so that you actually have strength and organization, know what you want and ask. There's samples. The follow up is a bonus guide, list to leverage, how to position and frame it so that you are not demanding things from the narcissist yourself personally. You're not attacking the narcissist. You're not pushing, poking, prodding the narcissist, triggering the narcissist, and making it worse. Learn about positioning and framing in that second guide, which is also in my newest book. Then I have a video, Position Yourself for Successful Negotiations with a Narcissist. You might just want to watch this even if you're in the custody battle and there's no way you'll negotiate or he will negotiate right now, but just to understand how to put yourself in a position of not the enemy camp to destroy, but more of we're co-parents. We have to get through this together, and stuff like that, learning that skillful means approach. So I do have like an outline of my next program of how I ended up in peaceful, successful negotiations with a narcissist. This is a tool, this question, how important is it? It led me. I got this from my Al Anon program, my 12-step free programs. You can find them online. You can join them on phone and Zoom. The new nonprofit will be coming out soon, and I welcome you if you're in my custody battles mothers groups on Facebook. And we are going to put child safety first, which means there will be injustice dealing with an unfair person who's selfish. And we may have to learn to deal with the injustice in a way that is constructive. There's a lot of anger and upset and disappointment and betrayals and a lot of high emotions when you're divorcing a narcissist, separating from a narcissist, co-parenting, losing in custody battle to a narcissist, and that's where the support comes in. And we are trying to build support groups and other support webinars for moms who need to know they're not alone, because we can get stronger together. If you're needing the healing, I believe healing can happen. I feel like I've made a full recovery from narcissistic abuse, but it took a lot of effort and actually planning in time to do my healing work. So I have a guide, 25 keys to healing, and I also have a 200 ways to break trauma bonds guide and video. You can find that. If you're dealing with a narcissist, these are some of the tips I give. Get a safe person to vent to. And this may not be your lawyer, because that can be really expensive and bring your lawyer off track. But if you find regular confidential support to share your story of injustice, pain, and betrayal, it may not be me. I might be just your strategy person. But having a DV counselor, a therapist, somebody that's confidential, it might help your case. Of course, if he's subpoenaing your records, your therapy records, that might be a different story. So obviously take what's helpful, leave the rest. But when you're dealing with a narcissist high conflict drama, we'll likely need someone to regularly vent to, or we risk having the anger and rage piling up inside us and risk emotionally reacting to the narcissist, which then feeds the narcissist. So be proactive and smart. Find the safe professional person or two, because people burn out. So have a couple support people. Lawyers are expensive. You don't want to bring them all the drama, pain, and emotion, but rather the name of the problem so they can offer you a solution. And then better yet, just bring the lawyer the list of wants so they can focus on what you and your child needs and requests from the court. So listen, learn, adopt, watch a few videos, book a session if there's time on my schedule. It's very limited. Um, Please don't send long emails or Facebook messages. I hope this video was helpful for you to get an idea of what I offer in one-to-one sessions. Um, it's my survivor wisdom, and I wish I had someone like me going through it to say, hold on, this is what we're going to do. We're going to get an evidence binder. Let's get organized, calm down. Let's do, 3 consults with lawyers. But before that, let's get our list. Let's sit down, spend 3 sessions prioritizing the list, putting child safety first, and then asking for things that you need, things the child needs, things the judge will order, things the narcissist doesn't want. So, like, there's so many ways to strategize, and then calmly approach a family law lawyer. I've had so many moms not get lawyers because when they approach the lawyers with the drama, the lawyers are like, no, thanks. I don't want a client like you who will be calling all the time and upset, crazy, sounding crazy, feeling like they're going crazy. So, like, if you want to get the right lawyer for you, you may have to get organized before approaching lawyers. So moms have used me to get organized before getting the lawyer, so that they don't not get accepted as a client by lawyers. That's happened. I've had moms with 12 lawyers, and the child's not even 1 year old. So there's been a lot of extreme situations that I've listened to and heard their story. I hope to offer some hope and the light, be a light in the darkness of this dilemma. If you're going through it, I can tell you the things that have happened to me and point in some directions for you to explore and investigate on your own. I always say our child custody case is often only as good as our attorney and your preparedness. So you do have some power in this. Your preparedness, your organization, your your expertise in this. We can empower ourselves by obtaining strong, solid legal representation or at least getting free and paid legal consultations. So maximize those legal consultations by reading my Get the Right Lawyer guide, printing out the workshop, and just asking what would be your strategy to get sole custody, for example. That's an example. And when you have somebody who knows your case, like your own lawyer, it's better than getting straight advice from a lawyer who doesn't know all the details of your case. So you got to think about that. Telling people just bits of the story and asking for advice isn't as good as having a lawyer that knows the whole picture and then offering you legal advice. So watch out for getting just quick legal advice from someone who doesn't have all the details is just a consultation. You have to use the gift of discernment. You will have to be calm and patient and have advisors and mentors and support people helping you make decisions. I help moms go from stress to strategic. And how do we go from stress to strategic? Well, we get solid, sturdy, and we put boundaries in place so that you can even think straight. And you can read my gray wall strategy. And when you get stable and supported, you can start getting the strategies in place. You can start strategizing. So your support team is designed to help you solidify strategies while emotionally supporting you. And your mom and your best friend, they've never gone through this probably, and they can burn out, and they're emotionally involved too. You need somebody that's objective, who can look at the case more objectively using common sense, logic, reasonability. There's always that test that my lawyer would say, is it reasonable? But things can always be used against us and twisted. So there needs to be strategies in place, a defense strategy, an offense strategy, a documentation strategy, a strategy to get to negotiations, a strategy of creating leverage. There's many strategies to put in place. So the fact is, it is entirely stressful to deal with a personality disordered person, such as a narcissist. You are not alone if you are stressed out. I say it's normal to react to abnormal. But when we are stressed, we struggle, we make mistakes, we're confused, we're destabilized, scattered, we aren't as effective, we're isolated and weak. And I tell moms that a narcissist typically wins. Their trick is to emotionally destabilize the target and the victim. And that way we end up sabotaging ourselves. So to stay emotionally strong and sane through this is one of our key defense systems. So when we're strategic, focused, clear, decisive, supported, stronger, smart, facts, just the facts, dates, times, details, labeling the tactic, having 10 instances of character assassination or lies can be really helpful to have those logs that I teach. And the key is your sanity. So, how do you hold on to your sanity in the midst of insanity? The support and the self care is key. And support, what does support validate you? Yeah, what he's doing is manipulative. We encourage you, we listen and don't judge you for it. And someone like me who's been through it can offer you an education, or your lawyer can give you an education in family law. And I say use wisdom and lead with love, because when you use wisdom, I feel like you win. And just watch out for the word win, because narcissists love to win, hate to lose. But there's ways to position yourself for negotiations and offer win-wins. And having support can give you an outlet for your anger. So I talk about going from triggered, highly triggered and reactive, because he's abuse. And I say he's abusive. Probably in your case, he's probably abusive. Narcissists or abusers abuse is what I say. It's not personal. Teach moms how to not take it personally and go from triggered to targeted. So we can pre-plan. We can get a venting partner. You can do deep breathing. You can do the documentation strategy and hold on to your sanity. I talk about the power of pausing, drafting example responses, but not sending them. Always check with your lawyer before you send something. What you want to say but don't send, and writing it nowhere it can be accidentally sent, but in a journal. I mean, writing obviously was a key to my healing. How many books have I written now? 7 or 8, just based on that one relationship. And you can focus on the child. I'd say The Biff Method is a great book, Brief, Informative, Friendly, and Firm by Bill Eddy. I used that to help me feel like I had some words or a shield. But I teach the 3D approach and the detach and shield method. So look for some of my support groups that I offer on my Facebook groups for moms. You can go from alone to supported. I talk about gathering a team of 10 in my first book and using a DV agency because they're the ones that understood the narcissist, because usually narcissists are abusers. Um, and these team people, if I'm one of your team, will keep you emotionally supported and standing. And we do get courage through connection. Many moms just do one session with me to just get connected to someone who overcame it, survived it, and still has their child more than 50% of the time, has all their rights. But I say find the experts in family court. Just make sure the experts aren't narcissists themselves, and read, study, learn about making alliances. And it's important to ask for help. So thank you for watching. If you want to go from alone to supported, I'm here to help, encourage you. I don't sell big packages. I don't sell promises or guarantees. If you're forced or required to co-parent with a narcissist, I give you some of my survivor wisdom. We make a to-do list. I give you resources I've made that can help things go easier and better. I give you support people that I know are legit, or books I've read that are helpful. Um, and just know you're not alone in your grief and the stress of it all. And if you're part of my Facebook groups, I post tips weekly. Um, and that way you can just get bite-sized tips that you can think about. And if my message of creating peace and protection for yourself and your child resonates with you, you can get support with me to stay standing strong. So other places to look besides me, this domesticshelters.org, DV, your local DV counseling agent, therapy center, recovery centers, online 12-step programs that are Zoom and phone, Al-Anon, ACOA, CODA. Churches, be careful of spiritual narcissists. Some churches, nonviolent communication groups were really helpful. And the family resource centers. I remember taking parenting classes and getting free childcare and free dinner, and just focusing on becoming the best mom I can be and helping my child with special needs. So think about becoming self-sufficient, self-reliant, healing, educating yourself, not focusing on the narcissist and what he's doing, just documenting it if it matters. The places that I got help, I had a good family law lawyer picking up the phone for 6 years, helping me understand court. DV counselor who understood abusers, even came to some of my pretrial hearings and custody therapy, custody battles. I had an Al-Anon sponsor. You can get a sponsor in CODA. I had a confidential therapist. I had fellow friends in my recovery programs. I did have a trusted pastor who was highly recommended and safe. I had women from a local church and spiritual group. I had other moms in those parenting groups and classes. I even hired a parent coach. So I hired a couple custody battle coaches, maybe 2 or 3, that dealt specifically with narcissists. So I got help. I'm encouraging you to get help and reach the point where you're learning my skillful means method that could possibly get you to successful negotiations and out of the stress of family court. Because the lawyers, like my lawyer said, the lawyers are the only ones that win in a family court battle. They make the billable hour, they make money, and the parents pay, and the money does not go to the children. There should really be some family court reform. I have 25 key phrases that you can read. It's a lot of these guides, if you buy them on my Gumroad, they come with a link to watch it in a video. If you don't have time to read, you can just listen to the video. I have 5 factors that make a narcissist stop. That made the narcissist stop in my case. That was my first stop. And then the second stop was negotiations for us. So come over, listen to my Spotify podcast if you want some more of my free guidance. I call it Grace's Guidance. I want to guide you towards that peace and protection, not beating and defeating and all of those things, but thinking about how can you survive it. The hope and the thing we've got going for us and the children have is that they're getting older, not younger. So they're going to be growing into their own rights and their own choices. They're not becoming more and more vulnerable as they grow up. And so as they grow up, we want to be there in their lives, watching them grow, supporting, and we never stop being their mother. That's the bottom line. When they're 45, we will be their mother. And I need my mother at 45. So we never stop being their mother their whole lives. So I believe that we can adopt new mindsets and healthy attitudes and healthier perspectives to get through this situation. So we've saved our own lives, and I know that we want to single-handedly save our child's lives, but we may need support doing that saving. So look for my 3 keys to detach from the narcissist, to restore lost power. If you're being triggered, use my skillful means, get strategic, and you can book a session with me on my calendar. Remember to pay and sign that form ahead of time before you book a session or immediately after booking a session, and then you'll get an email confirmation from me. So thank you so much for listening and watching. You can like and subscribe, go to my YouTube channel. All the videos under Dealing with a Narcissist will help talk you down from some ledges and back from some fights and some drama you don't want to be in, to help you appear less of the high conflict party. So I do believe that our reaction can fuel the flames. Our reactions do feed the narcissist. And when we can manage and mature beyond triggers and reactions, it changes the whole case. So I want moms to feel empowered and prepared and have better outcomes. Booking sessions ahead of time before you get right towards the end where things aren't going in the right direction, being proactive and pre-planning to get those support people in place for what you're going to be up against. If you have a brand new baby and you get support now, it probably can help your case, rather than wait till they're 5 and then the courts give more time to the father, and then the father wants sole custody and doesn't want to pay child support. So there's usually a typical pattern and progression of the narcissist and the post-separation abuse. I call it co-parenting abuse. And I endured that. You can find those on my blog, those things in my first and second book. And getting legal representation is empowering, and having a coach is also empowering. Thanks so much for watching. Hope to see you in the next video or on my groups or talking one-to-one in our confidential sessions. Hang in there and have hope.